In today's video, we look at the new Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Radiance palette for eyes, brows, face, and lips, but we start with the new Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. Hello, Princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. We have a good one for you today. I couldn't decide which of these to do first, so let's do them together. You saw what we are doing from the preview. You know we have Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint, and of course, Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Radiance palette. We're going to look at both. I'm so glad to have you here. We got a wear test in progress. Don't forget that you can also follow me over on TikTok, Instagram, and on Threads. Also today, if you are interested in only one of these products or one aspect of these products, please make use of the detailed timestamps that appear in the description bar below, but also across the screen here. All of these products will be down below for your purchasing pleasure, as well as information about giving super thanks. I'm always grateful, and joining our $4.99 a month members only group. We have weekly lives for members, and we would love to see you there. Okay, let's talk about some of the info we have. I am wearing all of the products, and we do have a wear test underway about 3 hours in right now. We're going to start by talking about this brand new product from Lisa Eldridge. This little guy is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. In the US, it is $49 and comes in 8 shades. I debated on my shade choice. I almost hit the button on the T6, but then at the end, switched to the T7, and I'm wearing it now. I think I did pretty good on the shade choice, but it is such light coverage that it is very stretchy. That's 18 shades. 18 shades are probably covering really about 40. I probably could have worn one of 3, to be honest. First thing, we want to talk about the packaging here. So this was influenced by one of Lisa Eldridge's favorite visual artists, a sculptor, modern abstract sculptor, if my art history knowledge is not letting me down, named Barbara Hepworth. And she did, I'll insert a little sculpture of hers, but it's a sculptural bottle. I was surprised a little bit by the smallness of the bottle. We're going to talk a little bit more about the packaging as we do the demo, because I have some thoughts on it that I will reveal in the demo in terms of how it works, etc., etc. But I am, if you don't know, about 5'2". I'm just kind of a small boned person, and it fits in my palm. So it's a little guy. I think it's like there's 1 fluid ounce, so it's a little guy, and it is light coverage. And when they say light coverage, they do mean light. In the demo, I begin searching in my head for a product to compare it to, you know, including tinted moisturizers, tinted sunscreens. Not that this is a sunscreen, it is not, but you know, that kind of genre. And I couldn't find one. This is the lightest one I have ever found in terms of tint. It has a feel-good formula, Lisa Eldridge says, and I will agree with that, with 78% skincare ingredients, and boy, can you feel them. My skin, we're about 3 hours in, still feels super soft, moisturized, and plumped, but doesn't, as you see, I'm not wearing any powder. We're just letting this go on its own. As you see, it does not look shiny or greasy, thankfully. This will tone down your redness and boost your luminosity just a bit without looking greasy. You got to shake the bottle, and you'll see in the demo, you put a few drops. This is Lisa Eldridge's suggestion. I think her suggestions are pretty worthwhile. Put a few drops on this, on the back of your hand. Use the other hand, and then apply like skincare. If you'd rather use a sponge or a brush, you go ahead and do you, but we will apply it like skincare with our hands today. And it is, like I said, the lightest coverage and the most nourishing feel of any other product. I can't really compare it to any others. You're welcome to ask down below, but I'm not finding one comparable. I even talk in the demo about like the Hourglass skin tint. Nope. This is in a league of its own in terms of lightness of coverage and in terms of the skin care feeling, which some of you will like, some of you won't. We'll talk about that. I have a lot to say at the end when we do finish out our wear test. But so far, we're doing so well 3 hours in. Let's talk a little bit about Danessa Myricks' second Groundwork palette. The first Groundwork palette time for a shameless plug. The first Groundwork palette, which was much more brown shades than this, kind of in these rosy pinks. The brown Groundworks palette, I am actually giving away a brand new untouched one in my 20,000 subscriber celebration. Let's see, what day is it today? I am releasing this on a Thursday, and that means tomorrow, Friday the 22nd. That contest closes at midnight California time. So hop on over to that video. I'll put a link to that video right up there, and get your name in those comments to try to win the first Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. Let's talk about the second one though. This is the Blooming Radiance palette. This is for brows, for face and lips, and we are going to use it as such. We have very rosy shades, and I've made a little bit of a mess, but I don't mind showing you. We have 10 different shades, and each of those shades comes in a pomade, which I've made a mess of, swatching and using, I don't care, and a powder. Pomade, powder. For each of the different shades, they are, she calls them her velvet pomades and her oil absorbing powders. Let me get that out of the light, stop it from moving there. And Danessa Myricks suggests pomade and then powder, but I always say that Danessa Myricks is a bit of a magician and she loves to be innovative. So, use these as you want, but pomade followed by powder to keep everything nice and in place and deepen it and keep it secured and oil-free and long-lasting. That's a good way to do it. We're going to use this on our brows. We're going to use it on our lips. I've already done that, and we're going to talk about it. Now, if I look a little bit mismatched, that is because in the demo, I do 2 different cheek looks and 2 different eye looks, and I did slightly weak attempt at evening myself out just a little bit while not interfering with the wear test, just to film this intro. So if it looks a little bit off still, that's just because I didn't match it up perfectly. I was excited to get to filming this. Let's look at some swatches from this Blooming Radiance palette here in 2 different lights. Let's start first in studio lighting, and we are going to have this displayed. Each shade will be pomade and then powder. Here it is in studio light, pomade, powder on each row. And you can take a look at that there. Now on the first 2 pomades in the upper row on the left, I applied the pomades with a brush because with my finger, they weren't quite giving enough color. But on all the others, I just did 1 swatch with my finger. So we have multiple swatches with a brush on the pomade only in the first 2 shades. Now let's take them outside into the warm California sunshine. The limited winter weather out here in California is gone. It is sunny. It is hot. Oh, I missed some cooler weather. So if anybody would like to arrange a weather trade, I'm sure a lot of you would, just let me know. That is outside in the warm California sunshine. Let's talk a little bit about this packaging. And yes, I've made a big mess of mine. These are magnetized. They can come out if you're a working makeup artist or just like to organize your own makeup at home. I love the fact that they have a little area here where you can insert a tool or a fingernail or a finger and pop out. You see that hole there? Pop out the palettes there. It's nice. You can clean them up. You can move them to something else magnetized, but they're really easy to get out. Of course, Danessa Myricks thinking of her clients who are working makeup artists, but like I said, anyone else. And of course, we have this beautiful kind of purple, rosy packaging, really lovely. Danessa Myricks has beautiful packaging actually on her palettes. We always talk about the innovative products inside, but the packaging as well is incredibly pretty, actually. It really is. Now, what I want to do now is we're going to go to the demos. We're going to try on both products and let this wear test continue to run. We'll accidentally do a little wear test on the Danessa Myricks product too, but the wear test is really truly for the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. So we'll get there throughout the day. Take a moment. Please make sure that you are subscribed. If you are not or have not, make sure that you click the subscribe button, as it certainly helps me out and I could use the help. Let's go to the demo. We will start this wear test today simply by putting on our new Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. I still can't get over how tiny it is. A very cute little bottle. Let me just tell you that we are going to completely test this as it is. I do have morning skincare that I put on an hour and a half ago. totally and completely sunken in already. And we're just going to put this on. I'll do maybe a little bit of concealer here and here on what I like to call my dark pits of despair. But I won't put it anywhere else because we just want to see what this does when left to its own devices. No primer, no finishing spray or anything like that. No powder, just today, just to see how this does. Shaking it up, maybe a little too much, but good enough. No powder because we all tend to use different powders. And if anything happens, I don't want to wonder, was it this powder? Should I have used a different kind of powder, etc., etc. Okay, so we put a few drops on the back of the hand, which is what Lisa advises us to do. And then take the other hand, she says, and dot it over the face. Oh, it is very light. I like that. Okay, and then coming in here, now I still have some on my hand. I have a lot on my hand. And we are going to rub it in. Rosa said to me, that's one of our community members, that she wondered if this was kind of like the Hourglass tint. No, I can already tell you it is even lighter than that. So if that's something you were wondering, it is not. This is one of the lightest tints I've ever tried. I'm putting it all onto my face, and we might even build it from here. I love light coverage, and let me tell you, this is light coverage. Wow. Okay, definitely you can use your hands. It applies like skincare. What do you think? Can you tell? Can you? Okay. Okay, let me build up now just one side, and we'll see if we can see the difference, okay? Okay, again, we'll put just one drop this time. Okay, I'm just going to build up this side a little bit. Definitely not something that you could not wear your concealer, you know, in terms of the coverage. Very, very light coverage, easy to apply with a hand. Please do not worry, I'm being very gentle on my skin. Okay. Okay, so there's two generous layers on this side and one very light layer on this side. Can you tell the difference? This is extremely light. This is probably the lightest, the most viscous skin tint that I've ever kind of played with. It's interesting. One thing right away, when I have the cap, you know, when we put it on our hand and then put it on our face, you're just going to kind of need to put it down. Nobody's going to screw the top back on, you know, because it would just roll down your hand. And this doesn't stand up. It didn't leak when I put it down like this, but that was a little strange for me. If it doesn't have its cap, I'd like for it to maybe stand up. Perhaps that's unfair. If it were a tube or something, it would be laying down. So perhaps that is unfair. But I felt like with the viscosity of the product that it should maybe stand, you know, I'm not going to, I don't know. Okay, let's put on another layer only on this side. Okay, this is going to have three very built up, I'm just kind of curious how it builds. Three very built up layers on one side of my face and one very, very thin layer on this side. I just want to see if as I build, you guys can see, and I can see a difference. I definitely can. So it is very a buildable product. Now let me see if you can see. Let me take my mirror down. This side, one very, very light layer, just barely covering the skin. And this side has three much more generous built up layers. How does it feel? Very nice. Very moisturized. Definitely feels like I have a moisturizer on my skin with a little bit of tint. A little less tint than a lot of tinted moisturizers on the market. Let me make the sides of my face match here, and I'll speed it up. I'll put two more layers on this side, so we're even, okay? Stay right there. Okay, so now we are completely matching. First of all, let me ask you about the shade choice. Remember I said I was debating a little bit between a 6 and a 7. I was pretty confident with my choice in 7 when I ordered it. What do you think? That is such a light coverage. It is exceptionally light in coverage, lighter than any that I've ever tried. I'm trying to think what I could compare it to, and I'm really not coming up with one. And I was thinking maybe a tinted moisturizer. Those have a little bit more tint. So very light coverage, very light tint. Also, an impressive amount of moisturization. So my skin does not feel greasy, but it definitely feels plump and it feels dewy. I'm not going to powder it today, but if you like to powder or feel the need to powder a complexion product, you will want to powder this one. What are you talking about, Rebecca? Let me explain. If you're the type of person who doesn't like any sort of a feel on your face, you want it to feel totally like then you will have the urge to put on powder. Does that make better sense? I'm not going to powder it today. And besides, that sort of a feel doesn't bother me, but it has more of a dewy feel than look, which is interesting and would be very nice. If you have exceptionally dry skin and you like light coverage, you will love this. Now, interestingly enough, I have what I like to call suggestible skin. Very, very normal. If I over moisturize though, it can start to feel greasy and break out. Hello, Super Goop. I'm looking at you. That new Super Goop product I didn't like. Nothing to do with Lisa Eldridge. And if I don't moisturize at all and leave my skin alone, it will kind of go dry. So my question will be, as I wear this throughout the day and throughout our wear test, am I going to start to feel greasy? And of course, I'm going to let you know that. All right, let me go just kind of fix myself up just a teeny bit, and then we can add on our Danessa Myricks product. I'm very excited to try that. And then we will allow we'll do a kind of a check-in when I put on the Danessa Myricks, and then we'll allow the test to just kind of roll on, the wear test. Okay, so stay right there. Okay, I purposely extended this time so we could get a little, not even midpoint, but early midpoint check-in. It has been 2 hours. It has retained its slightly dewy feel, so my powder lovers will probably want to powder. It's not bothering me, but my face definitely feels plumped, but it doesn't look overly dewy, which I kind of like. It definitely has a dewy appearance, but I'm not looking shiny or greasy, which I very much appreciate. Now, what else did I add? I added in a little bit. I've been using that Cali Ray color corrector. I put one drop here and one drop here on what I call my dark pits of despair. And I have that blemish from that Super Goop product that I keep just lambasting on here because I'm so upset here and there, and I put it on that. Okay, that's it. I did not put any here or around the nose. I thought we would really see where the seamless skin enhancing tint goes throughout the day. But I will say after 2 hours, I am not feeling a greasy mess. The reason I talk about the Super Goop product isn't to be rude, because as you guys know, that is not what I do, but just to kind of let you know, by 2 hours in, I was ready to take it off. And by the end of that wear test, I was just screaming. It was so almost greasy feeling. And this is the opposite of that. Feels really nice on my skin, really light, kind of like skincare. But I'll tell you this, I would have skipped my moisturizer. I didn't do a lot of moisturizing this morning because I didn't quite know what to expect, and I'm glad. I wouldn't put on like a super thick moisturizer and then put this on. That'd be a lot of moisture for my skin texture. Okay, maybe if you're dry. The other thing I noticed, I feel a little bit like a piggy. Oh, dirty, dirty, dirty. So this needs to be just kind of washed off with a little bit of a rag. And if it's left, I bet it would stain, because it's white. So that probably, you're putting that back on after you've used it, before you've washed your hands. Maybe that's a Rebecca problem. I don't know. But, I kind of got it off. But there's some considerations with the artistic bottle, which then is just kind of sitting like this. But it could also go up in a drawer. And I do appreciate the size. I mean, it's easy to store. Okay. Well, let's dig into this Danessa Myricks palette, which I'm already liking more because you guys know I love pinks for spring. I love pinks anytime. And I thought we'd make use of it. As you know, this is for eyes and brows and face and lips. And it has, gosh, it doesn't have a scent, but I swear I'm smelling berries. It's got to be in my head. I don't know. I like it. Okay, I want to have fun with this, and I want to try everything. I mean, I even brought over a brow pencil. So I'm going to brush down my brows. Let's just do a little bit here, and let's see what we get. We'll do 2 different eye looks. The whole idea here, do what you want, but for the most part, you're going to do the pomade and then the powder to kind of set it over it. But do what you want. I've got a little brow pencil here, and I just brushed down my brows, and I think, I don't know, I think I'm going to go in with this darkest shade right here, the very dark one, and then I'm not like chiseling out my brows or anything like that. And it's dark. It's a little bit, because these kind of run red and pink. It's not my perfect brow color, but I'm just trying to do something just kind of quick and fun. I think the other Groundworks palette did do a little better for my brows. Let's try doing it up here a little bit. I do not, like I said, do any sort of a chiseled out brow or anything like that. Again, the darkest one. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, I'm in the pomade, not in the powder. Perfectly acceptable, don't you think? Okay, now I'm going to run a little spoolie into the powder and then just kind of do that. Yeah, you know what? Even for being a tad bit warm for my brows, I still think that looks quite nice and put together. If I want a trip, I would be very happy with that. Very pretty. Okay, let's try to bronze. Bronzing is warm shades, right? So why not? Maybe let's go with the second one here. And I've got this big Sonia G brush that I don't have to worry. I'm just putting it in the whole pan. It's not really picking up the pomade. But let's just warm kind of around the sides of the face just a little bit. And I'm going into the second shade. And I just stuck it into the pomade and the powder because it's hardly going to pick up the pomade now, is it? That fluffy brush. All right, very happy with that. Very pretty. We have set the scene. Should we do 2 different blushes and then we'll do 2 different eye looks? Then we'll finish our wear test on the Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint, but we'll end up doing a wear test on the Danessa product as well. Why not? Okay, let's do very differing cheek colors. Okay, so I'm going to go in right here. Am I going to regret this? Quite likely. Okay, being very gentle. Oh, I'll tell you this. My skin feels gorgeous with that Lisa Eldridge on it. It really does. Like I'm feeling my skin and it feels just so plump and youthful. Okay. So I did that, and then I'm going to go in. I've got this really tiny little brush here and just kind of cover it with the powder. Just kind of giving you a sense of how it works. Now, do you have to do pomade and then powder? Can you just do powder? Can you just do pomade? Do whatever you want. Just a application suggestion. How about if I go up here and let's do this pomade shade right here. This kind of matches the sweater I'm wearing. I'm just trying to give you a nice big swatch of it. Boo, do I make a mess going into these with my finger. I really make a mess of these. Did I mention in the beginning that the original Groundworks palette is in my giveaway, you guys? Because it is. Okay. Okay, if you could put up with me looking a little bit mismatched there. Just a little bit with 2 different shades. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? Okay, let's do some eye looks. I don't know if I should do one and done. Okay, I'm going to start with this. This is a Rephr number 16. And I'm going to go into the powder of the lightest shade here and just cover the eye with it. All the way around. Oh, that's nice. It's kind of a rosy pink. See, on the arm swatch, you could barely see that, but on my eye, I certainly can, or you certainly would if you were here in person. And then I actually put a little bit of this pomade right onto the brush, and I think that's beautiful. Oh, wow. I think it really enhances it. I did powder and then pomade on that eye, even though I just told you originally to do the opposite. I'm trying to tell you guys, it really doesn't matter. Do what you want, okay? And then let's take it with the powder in this shade. These all have names, so if you haven't noticed, the names are going up as I use the product here. Okay, and let's do some of the pomade too. Why not? It doesn't, generally it should probably be pomade and then powder. You can do whatever you want. And then I'm going to do the powder underneath. I am actually really happy with that. It's a very simple look. If you want, you could take whatever highlighter you're using and put a little bit of that on, just the center or in the inner corner. But I actually like it like this. I don't have any mascara on yet, but I soon will. And let's take a 13 Max Rephr and do something a little bit bolder in the other eye. And on this eye, I think I'll do what I had originally told you, which is the pomade first. So we haven't tried this shade yet. Okay, let's just kind of gently go into, ooh, that's pretty. Oh, look how beautiful the pomade goes on with a goat hair brush. Okay, and then over it with the powder, or actually I think I'll just go over it and onto the mobile lid. What do you think? And then switching brushes a little bit, let's go into this kind of peachy pomade. So now this one I'm doing pomade first and just kind of put that peach in the corner there. The possibilities here are pretty much endless. And then this peachy shade, powder, and here too. Absolutely endless. What do you think? Let me get some mascara on and then let's do a little bit of a lip look. Okay, 2 different eyes, 2 different cheeks, and a little bit of mascara. I want to try something on the lips here. You guys know I'm very fond of using dense eyeshadow brushes. This one is a Rephr number 2 on the lips. I like it better than a lip brush, pardon me. So let's see, and I want to use a pomade here. Which one do you think? That's a little, okay, let's use this one. And I think, I'm not going to do it here. That's a very kind of retro 60s color on the lip, isn't it? I think I would normally maybe want to put a little gloss over this. I'm using just the pomade, not the powder. You can use the powder. You can do whatever you want. Actually quite comfy. I don't know if the color is that flattering on me. Let's add a little bit of this pomade to it. Let's just kind of warm it up a bit. Okay. Sorry, I'm just playing around. I needed to add a little bit to that. Anyway, very pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to do some work. And then I think I'll actually maybe even out the eye and cheek. I think I will, because I'll film my intro next. I don't want everyone to go when I first come on. So I think I'll even that out. But then I'm not touching anything with the, certainly I'm not touching anything with the complexion. And then at the very end of the day, before I take it off, we'll take a look. But a few hours in, I think the complexion's doing pretty well. Okay, stay right there. And next up, be the end of the day. Okay, we are, let me check that I'm not lying. Yep. Almost at exactly 9-hour wear test. And for a light skin tint, that is quite the test. This isn't some sort of matte 24-hour, foundation. I have to tell you something. When this does what it says on the tin, to borrow a British expression, and Lisa Eldridge is British. I mean, listen to it. This is a skin enhancing tint. It leads with skin enhancing, and that's what it is. It's definitely plumped my skin, and my skin feels soft without looking dewy. It has lasted what there is to last. The tint comes at the end of the title, and there's, I believe, a reason for that. The tint is very light. As you saw in the demo, I applied 3 different layers, and a lot of people on a no makeup day are maybe going to throw their hair back, put a few drops onto their face, rub it in, and it just kind of gives you a really nice glow to your skin and kind of settles in any ruddiness that you might have on your skin and kind of plumps it. It's not, in that sense, foundation. And I don't think it is supposed to be. In fact, I know it is not supposed to be. I don't want you to purchase this or have yours arrive and go, wow, I don't have any coverage. You will need to wear concealer if you want coverage. For instance, all day, my own fault, because I wanted to do just a kind of fair, even, Steven test here, but all day I've been annoyed by, little breakouts here and here, and, a little bit here under my eyes here, but I'll tell you, it's not creasing. It's not creasing anywhere. Is it giving me coverage? No. And if you work for the brand, for Lisa Eldridge's brand, you're saying, well, it's not supposed to. It's a skin tint, and it is a very light tint. So I am not criticizing the product. I'm just telling you what to expect and what not to expect. Extremely light, but not oily and greasy. You know, if you remember back, Westman Atelier had that tint that was kind of an oil, like a skin oil, and I hated it. I don't like the feel of oil. This does not have the feel of an oil. It's definitely a tint, and it's definitely moisturized. My skin still feels soft. But do I feel like I have even a light complexion product on? I think it's lighter than light. Is that a criticism? Nope. Literally just describing it. Okay, but it has not sunken into lines. It does exactly what it says. It enhances your skin, blurs away some redness, definitely a no makeup makeup. Now, I will say this. I would absolutely wear this on a day when I go a little bit heavier with the concealer, and then I would be thrilled with it. And you know, we have so many people out there, and I meet them all the time. In fact, I'm thinking of our viewer Quincy over in New England side of the US here, who doesn't wear foundation. A lot of people don't like foundation. They'll just put concealer on where they want, and then they'll, you know, maybe add a little something. This would be perfect if you're not a huge foundation fan or you don't like the feel of foundation on the skin. This is a very light tint. I have not found one lighter. If you can think of one, you can go ahead and put it down in the comment section, and I'll take a look at that. It's very, very, very light, but pretty, not sinking into lines. I feel like this is one when I go to wash it off, it'll be mostly kind of gone. You know, where you look at the washcloth and you're like, oh, nothing on there. You know, but it's very nice. And my skin still feels as soft as it did when I applied it without feeling sticky or weird. A great one if you want to put a little bit more concealer on that day, I would think, for those of us who are mortal and have blemishes. All right, let's talk about the Danessa Myricks palette. This is my favorite of the two just because I like pinks. I applied a little bit more to the lips before I came on here. And I still kind of have those two slightly different eyes. Remember how different they were from the demo? I tried to even them out. Probably not well. I evened out the cheeks a little bit. Beautiful cheek product, beautiful eye product. Actually worked really, really well on the brows. Not hugely a big fan of it on the lips, but maybe with a gloss over it. Again, I don't mess with the stuff when I'm reviewing it, but I'll play with it. And if you travel with it and you wanted to do one whole face look, I think you'd be really pleased with it if you like those pink shades. When I initially saw this, it looked even pinker and rosier. Then I started seeing press photos before it was released where it started looking more brown. And I was concerned because the first palette are those tans and browns and nudes. So I was happy when it got here, and these are all kind of different variations on a rosy theme, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. How is it easy to work with the putty shades? Absolutely. Will everyone make the kind of mess that I made here? No, probably not. That's a Rebecca thing, I guess, but I'm enjoying it. I purchased it with my money, and I'm going to dive on in and get it all over me and enjoy it. And I'm not sorry to say that. And I do think it's beautiful. It's fun. We tried to use as many shades as we could here, and you can get so many looks out of this. It's unbelievable. I think the only thing you would almost need after you did complexion, you could do your whole look with this. You could with the first Groundworks palette as well, and then maybe just a little highlighter. Add it to the cheeks, add it to the eyes a little bit, maybe some gloss on the lips if you're going to do the lips. And I think you would be ready to go. Just depends if you like those rosy shades. As usual, Danessa Myricks has an imagination that knows no bounds. She's interesting to me in the fact that, I don't know if you follow Danessa Myricks on Instagram, but she has these inspirational quotes. And I usually roll my eyes at inspirational quotes, except for the ones from Danessa Myricks, like they're literally inspirational. When she has inspirational quotes, honestly, read them. Because I don't like tacky stuff. I read hers, I'm like, well, that makes sense. I feel good about myself. I don't know what it is. She is very inspirational as an artist and as a person. I'm sorry to wax on, but I really do mean that. She is an interesting, innovative person. So yes, we have a lot of rose palettes on the market, but let me tell you, nothing like this. This is really interesting. And you can use it however you see fit, just like Danessa Myricks, right? No limitation to the inspiration and the ingenuity. So a really fun release. These are both a little bit different. I'm kind of glad I reviewed them together. They're both something that maybe when you get, you won't expect. I don't want you to expect a Pat McGrath rose palette here. Okay? I don't want you to expect another version of an Hourglass or a Say or a Kosas tint. These are both in a category of their own. And I think that is the takeaway here. And you will either love them or hate them. I don't think there's going to be any in between with these. And I mean that. Very different products, both very innovative, both in their own little sphere. Have you gotten yours yet? Did you order? Let's talk down below. I mean, this is what makes us a community. Leave a comment. You know I get back to all of my comments, all of them. So let me know what you think. And as you watch this video, as the days go on, and maybe you've received yours and tried it, I will be really, really interested to know what your thoughts are as well, okay? So let me know that down below. Ask any questions. Do you need this Danessa Myricks palette compared to some other rose shades from so many other brands out there that have released rosy shades? I'm telling you, formula's different here. But if you need a shade comparison, I do that over on Instagram. You can ask me here or leave me a note on Instagram, send me a DM, whatever. I'm happy to do it for you. I am at your service. So definitely let me know that. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.